Well, Martin, welcome to the programme. Thank you for joining us. Let's start with the Orb, which has just been launched by Netsafe. What is it?
Well, the Orb's a single reporting point that people can go to report any form of cybercrime or offence. So it's a one-stop shop for reporting cybercrimes and offences.
So this has got some sort of heavy hitters behind it as well. It's not just you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Netsafe's just a coordination point, but the partners that really make things happen around this is the police, the Department of Internal Affairs, Consumer Affairs, Commerce Commission, Customs, all of the people who would do something about a cybercrime or offence if it's reported.
So how does it actually work? So someone comes across something. Let's say it's a scam that comes through as an email into their ordinary email account. So how does the process work?
Oh, if you go to theorb.org.nz, then there's a series of options if you know what it is that you're reporting about. So if you want to report a privacy breach, you go to that particular place or click on that button. And the system asks you to enter information as you go, so it'll try to prompt you if you have something to add that in. Then once that's completed, you'll get a notification that you've completed your report. Netsafe will get the report and it will distribute it to the correct enforcement agency.
So you actually sort of act as a clearinghouse, effectively?
Yeah, absolutely. Some reports automatically flow through because it's so obvious to the system what they are, and others we check on and make sure they get to the right place.
So, I mean, this is probably a dumb question, but how prevalent is cybercrime? Is it to the extent where we're all going to hit it someday?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's everywhere and at a different level or scale. So, we all get spam every day, and, spam is something which there's a law against in this country, through to the kind of more serious offences where you're personally targeted, which obviously happens much less.
I know some among the other things you've got, if someone is concerned about, for instance, a chat room that may be grooming young people or whatever, you go right from the basic spam right up to serious potential crimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously the internet's created all sorts of opportunities for predators and groomers online, and often people who are in those same locations, whether they're social networks or chat rooms, etc., will see some of this kind of behaviour, and as a witness to a cybercrime, you have the opportunity now to report it. People often think that it make no difference if they report it, but it does. It makes a lot of difference. If that information gets through to the right places, things can happen. Because
that was the question I was going to ask. Your tendency is to think, oh, someone else will have seen this. I don't want to bother them, but it is worth reporting.
Yeah, look, I mean, double reporting a crime doesn't hurt anybody, but not reporting it can, and that's the thing. We're saying if you've got something to say it through the Orb, and if we get a dozen reports on the same thing, that doesn't hurt anybody. We'll get something done about it.
Well, let's widen it a bit and talk a bit about cybercrime then. I mean, before we started the interview, we were talking about the sort of things that come through, say, to a blog. And you'll have an email will come through and it says, "I like your blog," and you think, well, that's harmless enough, but actually it's not quite as harmless as it looks.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff on the web that's attempts by criminals to trick you to do something, and the most common thing they're trying to trick you to do is to click on a link that takes you either to a site that they want to promote, which might not be somewhere you want to go, or they are trying to download some malicious software onto your computer. And all of these things are just attempts to get you to click on that link and for them to profit from that.
And something we've had some experience of within our own organisation, I expect most organisations have, is when suddenly your server comes under attack from outside. That's denial of service. So what is that, and why do they do it?
Well, there's different reasons to denial of service, and all of them end up being bad for you, unfortunately, if you're the target of it. Sometimes it's just blackmail, just to prove to you that they can do it, and then to ask you for money so that they won't do it again. Other times they're trying to hack open your system. Sometimes they're just trying to damage your business because it's a competitor or something like that.
So how easy is it for them, if they attack your server, how easy is it for them to actually get at the data that's inside it?
It really depends how well secured your system is, and in a rush, I guess, to build websites, a lot of businesses have put up fairly poorly secured systems. So it can be very difficult if your system is produced appropriately, but of course a lot of people buying standard software or systems. They're not particularly technically expert themselves, or they get a friend to build them a website or something like that. Those systems can break open pretty easily.
So, as ordinary people on the net, how much danger are we in of losing data to the bad guys, or I guess even eventually having our identity stolen?
Yeah, at the extreme, having your entire identity stolen happens infrequently, but having pieces of your identity stolen can happen pretty easily and does happen quite regularly. We put a lot of information out on the web, that we publicly allow to go out, and then quite a lot of information about us is only a tiny level deeper into the web, and those things can be targeted fairly easily.
Because Facebook and Twitter and things like that. We all gaily put up everything about our lives on Facebook.
That's right, and we're constantly telling people to have a think about how it is that they present themselves online. But at that next tier down, the way you secure services with passwords and so forth, it's really critical that you do a good job of that, because, for example, your email account is really, really important in terms of managing all of your online life, because of the way you reset passwords and exchange information. And yet people don't secure their email very well. They use very weak passwords.
Again, just before we started, we were talking about how companies can lose data and have it stolen. Even the photocopier is a dangerous place to be.
That's right, yeah. If your company is targeted for data theft, then you've got to think of everything. And because there's hard drives and so many devices, because so many things on your network store information, all of those things, as you dispose of them or sell them off, you've got to consider that they may have something which is stealable, or someone may wish to steal. So
when you delete that file, you're not necessarily really deleting that file.
No, I think something people are sort of coming to understand, that when you press delete on a computer, what you actually do is you break the link or the menu item that links to the file, but doesn't actually physically remove it from the hard drive. So, those things are still recoverable.
How is it that we've got to this place that we need something like the Orb, there is cyberspace has become a place which appears to be patrolled by evildoers who are out to get us? Why is it like that?
Well, I think the internet has grown at a pace where it's been difficult for law enforcement and governments and so forth to keep up, and the people who have really seen the opportunity quickest and jumped on it have been criminals, unfortunately. And so, the Orb in a way is a response to try to bring some coordination back to our side of the fight, and help to sort of even the ledger or balance the ledger.
As Netsafe, you must see some of the really worst bits. Are you concerned that it will reach a stage where the bad outweighs the good?
No, I think we probably try not to ever think about it getting to that state. You're right, certainly in our job we see all of the bad and some of the worst, and so you can tend to sort of think it's overwhelmingly horrible. But no, the internet brings a tremendous amount of good, enables us to connect with people and do a whole lot of things that have real value. And yes, the bad guys will always try and exploit our use of it, and we'll always be battling against that.
Martin, it's great to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.